And the U.S. National Institute of Health is speeding up clinical trials of a possible vaccine against the Ebola virus. VOA's Carol Pearson spoke with Dr. Anthony Fauci, an infectious disease expert. Fauci is overseeing the trials.
Researchers have found a vaccine against Ebola that protects monkeys from the deadly virus. It's slated for human trials early because of the dire situation in West Africa. Scientists need to find out what it does when given to people. At the National Institutes of Health, Dr. Anthony Fauci will oversee the trials.
So you want to balance the need to get a potentially effective vaccine to the people who need it as quickly as possible, at the same time that you structure it in a way that you can get some meaningful information as to A, whether it does work or not, and whether it does harm.
Dr. Fauci says proving safety is critical.
We've had experience with vaccines that you actually think they're going to prevent infection and they make things worse.
If it goes well, the next step is a larger trial in the countries where the outbreak is occurring. But this also has to be done scientifically. Those who get the vaccine have to be monitored. Dr. Fauci says vaccine trials are very different from providing experimental drugs to treat Ebola.
It's not like a drug in which you're giving to a very sick person who has no other option. A vaccine is given to a healthy person. So the idea of first do no harm is much, much more compelling when you're dealing with someone who is a normal, healthy person versus someone who is desperately ill and has no form of therapy but needs something. Those are two very different scenarios.
One of the biggest concerns is the lack of infrastructure in the countries where the outbreak is raging. Too few doctors, too little protective gear, not enough treatment centers or medicines to help sick patients. The World Health Organization is asking for $500 million to address these issues. If a larger trial is warranted, it will start early next year. Dr. Fauci says he hopes the situation in West Africa will be better under control by then. Still, he says, even if the vaccine is effective, it's not the answer to the current outbreak.
We have an ongoing epidemic. We do not have a vaccine, so that's a hypothetical. We do not have drugs, so that's a hypothetical. Right now, what we do have is the possibility of infection control, isolation, quarantine, and contact tracing. That is what is going to bring this epidemic under control.
Health officials say precaution and prevention remain the best defenses against the disease. Carol Pearson, VOA News.